Hey guys, so today was CPI day. We got our numbers. Overall, core month over month came in at 0.3%, which is just 0.1% higher than consensus and previous. Core year over year came in at 4.3%, which that was 0.4% lower than previous, but at consensus. CPI year over year came in at 3.7%, which was 0.1% higher than consensus and 0.5% higher than previous. Month over month CPI came in at 0.6%, which was consensus, but was a big upside miss of previous at 0.2%. These numbers came perfectly within the range that I expected. So the question right now is what comes next? Overall, bears and bulls are fighting over CPI and FOMC. And pretty much what I said last week was that if the bulls can survive CPI and FOMC without any sort of significant sell-off, most likely we are just going to see a run up into end of year. As of right now, we survived CPI. So now the question is what comes next, and that's FOMC. Next Wednesday, exactly a week from today, we'll have FOMC. As of right now, markets are pricing in a pause, 97% odds of a pause. Not only that, though, but the highest odds into end of year is that we continue to pause into end of year. The most recent priced in odds of a cut come for July of 2024. Now, I mentioned this because we will get the dot plot at this next meeting. So that basically will show where the Fed expects us to go and kind of expects rate cuts and hikes and pauses. Jay Powell has basically said that we will not cut in 2024, but he was more leaning towards an every other meeting rate hike. So that would mean we pause here and hike in November. So the bullish case for not having another hike would be that core is coming down. And as of right now, we could project with the Cleveland Fed numbers that we could see core come in close to 4%. I don't think it'll get into the 3% range, but that's a big deal for sure. And that is what most likely what the Fed will focus on at this next meeting. Now, they definitely need to be concerned about month over month and regular CPI year over year going back up. And they're going to want to be in control of that. But they are going to focus on core and basically say, well, if core comes down, then CPI will come down. So I could see a case for them to continue to pause. I do think maybe one more 25 basis point would be necessary. But most likely what they'll probably do is just stay here in this basically high restrictive range, and they'll just let it play out from here and just kind of deal with whatever variance comes. We very well might have seen our last rate hike for the foreseeable future unless something crazy happens. Looking at the chart here, we basically are just stuck in a range. So the last 4 trading days have basically held in a super tight range. So over the last 4 trading days, we've held in about a $3.64 range. The last 6 trading days are in about a $5.30 range. Basically what we have here is we did not get a new supply, which I'm kind of surprised. We've been trying to get a new supply, but right here, this 448.5 and 444.8, those are pretty much our critical levels. Until we close over or close under, realistically, we are stuck in consolidation. This does appear to be a bull flag that could form to the upside, but I could also see how this is a 1, 2, 3 move to the downside also. Realistically, there's really no good play here, and I would wait until one of these breaks. And as painful as it would be, I would not be surprised to see us hold in this range until FOMC next week. Looking at futures here, same thing. Pretty much since August 29th, which is about 11 days, we have closed inside of, and this includes contract roll, about an 81 point range. The last 3 trading days are all held within about a 24 point range. So same thing here. We're looking at this 45.27 to 45.40 range as major resistance. I'm looking for a potential move back down, But again, we are trying to defend this really 4505 to 4513 area as critical support. And we've seen that play out a lot intraday lately too. That 4505 level has been a very big support area. Again, realistically, we need a closure over 4540 or under, at least 4505, but preferably somewhere down here in the 4400 area in order to have any hope of downside continuation or really any move in general. We're likely to just continue to chop until FOMOC. Looking at the Qs here, so the Qs had put that new supply in yesterday, and it turned around and immediately put a new demand in. So same thing here in the Qs. If you look at it, for the last 4 trading days here, we have held in a $5 range. Now, if you take that out to about the last 11 trading days, we are holding inside about a $10.20 range. Again, there's just no movement. We realistically need a closure over 378.1 or under at least 371.9. Whichever way we go, likely it will be fairly explosive, but until that happens, we just, again, are just consolidating. Looking at the VIX here, the VIX did actually get a new daily supply today, so we put that supply in right there at 14.24. So we are breaking under our 13.79 demand. So likely we're going to come back into this 12.9 to 13.1 double demand down here. And as you can see over the last, going on 3 months now, that has been a strong support area. Realistically, anywhere from 12.9 to 13.8 has been extremely strong support. So we should expect the VIX to find a bounce down here. Now, the one thing I've been talking about is the VIX feels very suppressed, and that played out today. So most of the day, for about 3 hours, the VIX just basically sat at 13.64 and didn't do a whole lot of anything. And we've seen a ton of this play out lately where the VIX basically sells off into open, and then the VIX just sits at a level and it doesn't move for the rest of the day. As of right now, that's what played out today. But we did see just a brief moment where the VIX broke out, and that perfectly coincided with that huge $3 drop we had. So again, basically looking for the VIX to finally break out, and I do believe that'll be our next leg down. I think one of the biggest issues the bulls are going to have here is the fact that the VIX is at this 13 level. And it's going to be very, very hard for them to continue to see upside momentum and see much more upside when the VIX is already this low. They're really going to need, if they have any hopes of pushing much higher, are going to need for just heavy buying to come in. And I don't see that happening until at least FOMOC is over and potentially until we're through this next earnings season. I hope you guys had a good day trading today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.